Hello, welcome to the Women Who STEM the Gap podcast, an IIT Delhi and Co-Impact initiative. I am Ridhima Sharma, and I'm excited to bring you the insights and experiences of some incredible women in STEM. In this episode, I will be speaking with Bhavisha Thakkar, a PhD candidate in the Civil Engineering Department at IIT Delhi. You can learn more about her work in the description below. Hello, today I have with me Bhavisha Thakkar, who is a PhD candidate in the Civil Engineering Department at the Indian Institute of Technology, Delhi. I'm very excited to learn about your journey, and thank you so much for agreeing to have this chat with me, Bhavisha.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me here. It's a pleasure.
Thank you. So, just let's jump right into it. Could you tell me a little bit about your background and what is it that you're doing now?
Yeah, so basically, I have done my engineering, like BTech from civil engineering, and then I did my master's, that is also in construction technology and management. After that, I have a teaching experience of 3 to 4 years. I was mentoring GATE students. Who were preparing for gates, and then I started doing my PhD, and now at present I'm pursuing PhD. I'm in the third year of my PhD degree. So I'm just navigating it right now.
So, what has your experience been being a civil engineer? What, or if I may ask, who, whether it was people, whether it was some key experience that really influenced your career trajectory or your decision to join civil engineering?
So back then, I belong from a very business family. So there was no one at my home who was doing engineering, neither any of my cousins. So I was having zero knowledge on that. I just jumped into preparing for JE and AIEEE. So I was very clear that I don't want to do coding and all of that. That I have realized when I was in class 11. So based on my rank in the exams, I got like I was very sure I don't want electronics and computer science. Then I thought, okay, like civil, mechanical, electrical. In that, I felt civil engineering is because I can see things. So back then, I was not knowing what actually until and unless you don't enter into engineering, you don't know what actually it is going to be. So that's how I chose civil engineering. And after that, when I was learning through it, I got interest, and I was very much keen in teaching students. Like when I was doing my engineering, also I used to teach my friends, so that's how it came. So I am in academia from then on, so it was a keen interest for me.
And you really enjoyed teaching, and that's why you wanted to pursue a PhD,
Yes.
or was it a more research oriented focus that you had that led you
No,
to?
no, no. It's basically because I love teaching, and therefore I joined. And now because now I'm researching, so I'm enjoying the research work also, because then it's giving me a very huge perspective. So obviously it will enhance my teaching also. I just hope that.
No, of course, research and teaching always just go hand in
Just
hand.
go hand in hand. Yeah, it's like opening so many perspectives in your head. So yeah, I'll be better in teaching after doing all these things. So I'm very glad that I joined PhD.
So, since you mentioned that you come from a business family, and you were clear that you didn't want to do that. You were preparing for JEE and AIEEE, and you were clear you didn't want to do coding either. Often it's said that there are certain STEM fields that are more suited to one gender as opposed to another, and things that women should or should not be doing. As somebody who has done civil engineering, do you find campuses or labs or any other workspace or learning space to be gendered?
See, I have not experienced it till when I was in masters. Like in masters, the strength was very less. In my BTech also, there were like it was 100 students and only 16 were girls. So basically, the civil mechanical is more preferred by male candidates. So yeah, it's gendered, but I didn't face any issue because of that. But when I was in the when I was teaching, there I was the only female faculty among 20 faculties. So I was the only female faculty. So many a times it happens, like mine was a when I joined, it was a campus placement. So that time I was on a salary base. So it was fixed. But when I started doing freelancing, so they will always think that she's a female candidate, although you are very good at teaching, your feedbacks are superb, you are taking classes same as the male candidate, but they will think that your remuneration will be less. Like they'll offer you less. So I have to fight for that. I have also faced that they'll not have a female washroom, because the infra is like that, that all the male, the business model where I joined was 8 hours, continuous 8 hours of teaching. Like it will be having a break of something 1 or 2 hours in between, but then you have to take classes for 8 hours. So mostly there will be no female candidates. So these two problems I faced. So it was there I faced the gender issue, but in my masters and my btech it was not like that. And now in my PhD lab also, the ratio is more like we are more girls than boys. So it's like not an
So
issue for me.
tell me a little bit more about your teaching experience. You mentioned that you taught right out of your master's program. I don't know if you are teaching or TAing right now during your PhD at IIT as well. What is that experience like? Do you find that there is an issue of perhaps difficulty in seeing a woman in a position of authority, apart from, of course, the very crucial issues of infrastructure that you've talked about?
Apart from that, I think it depends on the individual to individual. I don't see it as a gender. Obviously, there will be certain challenges, like because when I started teaching, I was only 24 years, 23, 24 years, and the students whom I were teaching were 21. So that, and I was teaching civil engineering students. Obviously, there will be more male candidates. So that was there. That little bit difficulty was there, but then I know how to tackle it. So it depends on individual to individual. There I don't face any gender issues.
So can you give me an example or any anecdote that comes to your mind where you've negotiated or tackled this kind of a situation?
So I think that whenever I feel that your work speaks, like when you are sincere. So what I used to do is like whenever I used to enter my class, I was very particular that I'll start my class, if it is at 10, I'll start at 10. I'll not delay. So I was very strict in that manner, and I'll not allow any student to, like, if they'll come and they'll later say me that, ma'am, you have taught this concept and I came 1 hour late or half an hour late, will you please repeat it? I was like, no, it will be a blunt no. And in the starting only I'll announce the certain things. So like when I was teaching that subject, I make sure that I'm very good at it, so that if some nonsense someone can make, I'll simply say that I'll not teach this student. You want me to continue the class, if you want, the institute want me to continue the class, this student will not sit in my class. So if we do this 1 or 2 times, then everyone knows that she is not leaving us if we'll do any mischief. So I created that thing. So when you are good at teaching, because they are there, it was like they were paying the fees, the coaching institute, a huge amount of fees. So most of the candidates were serious only. Some of them it happens, but then I was very particular about things, so I handled it like that.
So you were teaching both at colleges as well as at coaching institutes.
No, I was only teaching at coaching institute. So this was the difference, because when in college, then students do more mischiefs than it. Then I think it will be. I have not experienced it, but then it will be more difficult then.
Teaching at a coaching class.
Because teaching at coaching, people, you get serious students because they are paying a huge amount of fees, and you have been given a limited amount of numbers hours with the teacher, so they don't waste it most of the time. But then also something sometimes happens, then you have to be strict. Like I was very strict, and when you are good at work, then they respect you. The respect automatically comes from, like, within. And also, I was in my very early stages of career, so sometimes it happens that I don't know the concepts. Like if that some doubt came, I'm not able to clear it. So I have learned that I never used to bluff. I'll accept that I don't know this, and I'll come to you. I'll read and I'll come to you. So it helped me to improve. Also, the students also understand that, because initially many times it happens that you will not be, now also I feel the subjects I was teaching, like it's a ocean. You have to, every time you teach, you have to upgrade yourself. So the thing is, just accept and be good at your work. That is what I felt. Never bluff students. So that
No,
is what.
that thank you for sharing that. Another thing that you mentioned, when you shared your anecdote of tackling situations where your authority may come into question or students may want to create mischief. Do you find that classroom cultures are largely masculine in nature, whether it is digital STEM education, coaching classes, or university education?
Yeah, I feel, because also I taught so much in South India as well. So there, these girls are very shy even to ask the doubt. They'll not speak in the class, even if I'll say, if you have any doubt, if even if I ask them individually. So yeah, it's there. In my branch, it is there because the ratio is like that. So they'll come after the class. And I don't know, because maybe I am female candidate, they are more comfortable with me. I don't know about the male. So it was there. I have seen in South India, not in North India. This is not a generalized statement. But with the my sample space, whatever I have seen, it's my experience that they'll not ask. They'll be more shy in asking doubts.
Right. So, as an educator and as somebody, who wants to be in academia after finishing your PhD, how do you think one can break this culture of masculinity to foster a more inclusive learning space where everybody feels comfortable speaking up?
I think, like being a female, like being a woman, what we can do is we should try to encourage female candidates asking doubts or whatever their problem is. Like we should make them feel comfortable in the class. That is what we can do. And I think nowadays this has this gap, whatever it was initially, like before when we were in the college, and now after, like it's been a decade now, so now the things are changing. I think so. Now women are also, the programs like you are conducting, and there is so much of women empowerment things going on, which we are proud of. So nowadays I think it's, the gap is already reducing. And being a female educator or instructor, I will always try to give them a comfortable space. That is what I can try, so that they can, like we should encourage them. And they should, like we should not, if the doubt is also, the doubt can be a doubt, whether it's silly or whatever. So we should never make fun of those things, like as an educator, anyone, whether a male or a female instructor. That is what I feel.
So, Bhavisha, tell me a little bit about your PhD journey, because I know from our interactions before that you have really worked and vocalized concerns on campus about laboratory conditions, about the particular situation of mothers who are working on campus. So, what has that experience been like for you?
So basically, it was not easy, but it was only, I could do it only because my lab environment and my supervisor. So what has happened is, basically I completed my coursework and I got pregnant. So in my pregnancy also, I was having so many complications. So I have to take leave during those time also. So that time my professor, like he has done his work. He said that we can't give you the leave and all of that. But the institute in my department, the one who will, like they have, in the department only, they have told me that these are the things you can take leave, and you should continue by doing these things. So I took 1 month of, I will get scholarship, that break, and then 2 months of leave I applied, and somehow I managed. Then I got maternity leave after that. But because I was having complications, I applied maternity leave before. So when my baby was only 4 months and 20 days old, I have to join back the institute. But I was not having an accommodation inside the campus. Although as soon as I joined the institute, I have applied for the accommodation. So the accommodation inside the campus is a big problem. So even when I approached it through my professor, even after getting the accommodation, it took me 4 months to hand, like to get the handing over. even I involved my professor, then also it didn't work. So this is a very big thing in the campus which is happening, because they say that we don't give preference to the mothers, but then like how you are expecting, like I was traveling 1.5 hours to 3 hours to and fro, and my baby was completely on breastfeeding. And like they'll say that when you join back, there is 5 years, we'll get 5 years of assistantship and all of that, but they'll say that like 6 months will be counted in that. It was leave, they'll consider you were on leave, but you were doing some work. So everything is expected like that. But then I spoke to my supervisor. So in this, my supervisor played an important role because he supported me. Also, all my lab mates supported me. So my lab mates and my supervisor supported me. So then I was able to go through the journey. So the problem in the campus is they don't provide accommodation, they don't give preferences to the female candidates who are having babies. So that should be there. Also, there's no crèche inside the campus. So the crèche is after 22 months. So then I used to carry my baby along, but it was allowed in my lab. It's not, I don't know about the other labs, and everyone in my lab supported. So I was able to continue. Otherwise, in that situation, I could have, like, I was having no other option. So that was the thing. Because of my, like, I was lucky, or I'm privileged that I got a supervisor who is so supporting, and also my lab mates. Without them, this journey would have been very difficult. So now also he supports me in every whatever I say, he supports me.
So, what was it like? I mean, one, just to follow up on this, which year of your PhD were you in when you were about to have your baby?
I was in the second year, and I was not completed my comprehensive exam. It's the first milestone in PhD. It has to be completed in 18 months. So that time it was a very difficult time because my baby was very small, and I have to. That is the exam you have to give at least 2-3 months of dedicated work, like 12 to 13 hours of sitting. So that somehow I able to do it, because in my like my lab colleagues also, one or two of them have helped me in that, so I was able to do it. So I just want to say to the community, like IITs or NITs community, that this should be a culture. Because I have asked my friends also, there is, the lab environment is not good in all of the labs. So it's like in my lab, it's exception, everyone supports everyone. So it should
Do
be
you
like
think
this.
that was just, sorry to cut you off, do you
Hmm.
think the supportive environment was just something that was natural, or, did you was there an adjustment period where your lab mates and you, that you all had to adjust to being in that space and kind of working as well as taking care of your baby? Because obviously bringing a child to the lab doesn't just mean that, you've kept your child somewhere. There's like constant things that you have to keep doing, right?
So like it was like I'll only go to the lab for 1 or 2 hours, so that I'll be able to do my important work, and like which cannot be, like which I'll not be able to do by home, and I'll meet my supervisor and come back. So it was like that. Now because he has grown up, now it's not possible because he'll disturb everyone. That time he was not. Also, like there is no feeding rooms inside the campus, like inside the department. So there is the work is on the progress. I spoke with the professor, they are working on it. So that is also not there. So feeding room facility, crèche, these are very essential things which should be provided, so that like I have not, like if this all things was against me, my lab, my supervisor, I could have dropped. I could only survive because of this. So if the infrastructure could support this pregnant women or the women who have recently delivered the baby, then I think it will be much better. The situation will be much better.
What are some of the ways in which we can um, foster this kind of a supportive culture? Like you said that your lab situation has been an exception, but regardless of that, it's also an example of somebody really standing up and transforming a lab environment, right? It's when you really brought in and really kind of have everyone adjust to that. How do you think that, this can become more of a norm, like more of a culture, like you said? What can institutions do, not just in terms of providing facilities, but do you think then there need to be some sort of cultural change?
Shift. Yeah, I think this is very much important cultural shift. So I just think that it so much depends on the supervisor also. So I think the institute can held meetings to tell them that if there is something like this, the I don't know like exactly, but I have heard from some of my friends that supervisors also interferes among the lab mates, like what is happening with them and all of that. So in our case, it's like a supervisor is completely off for all of this. He'll only see our work. He don't interfere in all of those things. And like I think it is mainly the supervisor who can drive these things among the students, because see, every individual is different. Every individual comes with their own set of perceptions, own sets of values. So that coordination is uncontrollable. It's not in our hands, but the supervisor can play a very significant role in maintaining the lab environment. So I think there should be some webinars related to this, which can because I think see, when I was not mother, I was not in a situation to even imagine what a mother goes through or what are her problems. So the male supervisors, I think, who have babies also will in no way able to imagine the problems and all of that. So I think this could help. And also I feel that when like in my case, my supervisor is very supportive, but I also have to be very sincere that I don't make whatever the liabilities he's giving me, I should not make bad use of it. I should be also very answerable and sincere to him. So it depends on the individual also, that the supervisor should trust you. And also, yeah, this can be done. I think this will play a very crucial role.
So having a supportive mentor, supportive supervisor who can really inform and model the culture of a research lab or a classroom on campus is one of the ways. Um,
Yeah, because I feel he only plays a significant role in culture shifts. Like you cannot control the people who are coming inside, right? And you cannot control the bonding also. It depends. Like I have been lucky enough that I got good people around. But good people means everyone is good, but I the bonding I'm speaking of, like, so it's like that. I think the supervisor can play a great role in that.
what has it been like navigating parenthood and research? Because that's something that, of course, women are asked about parenthood and how are you balancing work and life, and you're expected to kind of put everything else on hold when you have a baby. What has that experience been like? And can you perhaps, share what are the things that kind of matter more or less right now when you're going to do your research on campus, or has it largely remained the same?
No, it has not been the same. First of all, the question which you said that mostly it has been asked by the to the woman, that it's because the dependency is like that. Matlab, see, initially you are breastfeeding, so the connection, like the baby needs more mom than dad. It's like biologically that. So you cannot like this is a very subtle thing that the baby needs mom. I have experienced it now. Before I could also get offended, but now it's like it's a subtle thing that they'll need you more. So the thing is like that the baby will need me more. So therefore, the maternity leave is provided more to the mom and then to dad. And next, what was your thing? That anecdote, like how? So it's like it has been completely changed. It's not at all same. Now, like whenever I am at work, I'll feel I should be taking care of him. Whenever I am taking care of it, I think I should study. I should read. So yeah, you have to strike a balance, and I have accepted one mantra that one day at a time. Whatever is presently I can do. I don't think that I have to publish this many papers. I have not yet started or something like that, but I'll see that what best today I can do. That is how I am managing. Hmm.
So, just circling back to one of the questions that I had initially asked you, that women are always expected to keep either their career on hold or their family, personal life on hold. What has your experience been like, kind of living your life in tandem with doing your research, not stopping either for the other's sake? And what has been perhaps the usual culture or perception of students pursuing an academic career or even industry careers?
So basically, I've heard in the campus only that supervisors, many of the supervisors says that like they don't prefer if you are married or if you are going to get married. Like so many students hide it from their professor that they are getting married. And also for pregnancy, so for pregnancy I have not heard, but it's a in the PhD mandate it's there that you can take maternity leave. So obviously your biological clock and your career for a woman, it goes on along, so we cannot, because PhD is a long journey. So if we want to have kids, we cannot delay it for that long, because nowadays, the fertility is anyways dropping. So at the right time, if you have a baby, so it goes along. So I have heard this. So from in my case, so I have thought that I will do it because there's a provision of maternity leave. So you can take that, and it's obviously going to be, there's no such thing as that. So I did that, but the challenge was every other day I feel that I won't be able to do. Sometimes I feel that I'm not the one I was before. Now I'm not. So many times I miss so many seminars going on where I can get the learning opportunities. I miss attending synopsis where I can learn so many things. So that all is happening. But yeah, I'm trying to do my best, whatever I can do.
Yes, of course. I mean, you have been doing your research and pursuing your PhD alongside living your life and raising your child and having a family. Do you think having a supportive family also like plays an important role? Generally, like having that kind of social support, whether it's in the lab or whether it's at home, do you think that is really also
Very,
crucial?
very much. So my husband is very much supportive, but in like on the other side, like there's no one who can take care of the baby. He's also working, so that is a challenge with me. But otherwise, he is supportive. Otherwise, I could, like, how can I do? So he has to be supportive. Like, that is the main thing. So in the families where they question, like my in-laws also don't question my work and all of that, but where they question, then it's a big problem for the women. Like there are so many hidden things which a woman goes through. You cannot even like explain. The list will go on. So it's like that you have to think of so many things. You are expected to be on top
For
of
in,
everything.
for
Hmm.
instance, what is one thing you've had to like think of, say, after marriage or after becoming a parent?
Actually, also, I will say that, see, women are more perfectionist also. So they want things to be done in a very certain way. And when you do things accordingly, the expectations also raises. So I feel that women should start seeking help. If you ask for help, mostly you will get. If you don't get also, you should keep on asking for help. So that will only make your life easier. So that is what I, because everyone expects you to be like this. You have to do certain kind of, मतलब, so many times people says na कि अरे ये पूजा है, you should do this, ये सारी चीजें, even though if it doesn't comes from your perspective also, maybe for you the spiritual values are different, but then you are expected to do. So that is also, this is a very simple thing. There are a lot of things like that culturally. In if there's a festival, the woman of the family will should have to take a leave and do things. It's like that. But then yeah, you have to start speaking for yourself, start asking for help. So that's how it will work. And even if the other person does the work 60-70% of what you expect, then you should be happy. You should not react that time.
Of course, not just like being at home. What if there is an important seminar or a lab, I don't know, experiment or research meeting that you have to attend, and like you said that you don't live on campus, which has been one of the bigger challenges of
Yeah.
navigating parenting as well as focusing on your research.
Yeah. So it's like now also the problem is the crèche is allowing the baby after 22 months and my baby is 17 months. So but yeah, there is like I'm just navigating it how as much as I can do. That is how I think I'll not be on the top of my game, but yeah, that is fine. Like it is better to not doing PhD than to pursue, and I can compensate it later in the life.
Another thing that I wanted to get a sense of is, of course, you have been really pivotal in changing your lab culture. Have you been a part of any community, or have you found a community of other parents on campus who are going through perhaps similar challenges, and have you all collectivized in some way to really put forth some of the things that you really need on campus?
Yeah, so Ravinder Kaur ma'am only is the key to our thing. So I have attended this STEM the Gap. I think it was there in the month of, I don't remember, it was in November or October. So there I have seen that so many of like me, there are so many. And when we meet, it encourages each other. So we see that we are not alone. There are so many people who are doing this, so we can also do it. I also feel that if someone has done so in my lab only, there was one girl, like one of my senior, my ma'am, she was having a 8 month old baby and she left the baby in Kerala and she came here. Her work was already over. She just has to give her synopsis and then has to go for thesis defense. So her work was already over. But then also she left the breastfeeding baby and came and she completed. So when she did, it was a very proud moment for me as well because I was going through the same thing. So yeah, when we have a community like this, when we see people doing it, we get inspiration from it because if we leave at any point of time, we'll only regret it because the potential is there, right? Therefore we are there. So we just have to, like, there will be struggle for 2 or 3 years, but then it will be all worth it. And you will not be maybe on the top of the game, but yeah, you will be doing it anyways. And after that you will have a better way of managing things. You'll turn out a better person. That is what I can say.
Wonderful. So we've talked a lot about motherhood and kind of building a more inclusive campus environment for parents, and having infrastructural support, having cultural shifts and supportive supervisors. What do you think are some of the other infrastructural changes or support that we need to build in order to retain more women in STEM? Like you said, that at so many levels there are these roadblocks, right? That there are supervisors who perhaps don't want women who are about to get married or are married as their advisees, or do not. There aren't enough facilities on campus for you to bring your child on campus, or if you don't have campus accommodation. So we've talked about all of the motherhood related things, but what are some of the other things you think need to change, whether it is on campus or off campus, to really retain more women in STEM?
I think we have spoke, like in my experience we have spoke upon all of these things, but I don't know the accommodation part. I feel that females should be given little bit of preference. I don't know, like I feel, I might be wrong, but I feel that because traveling for a woman is really difficult, so sometimes if you have to stay back late in the lab, you can't, because you have to at least in Delhi you can't, in Mumbai and all of the other places you can. Also the supervisor sometimes, there is one more thing, the supervisor feels that the female candidate is more less capable of doing certain things, like the bigger responsibilities or the roles will mostly be given to the male candidates. It's not the mistake of supervisor. They'll think that yeah, she's a girl, she has to go early, or sometimes that hampers the growth of a female candidate. So I think it's like where the time factor is there, the supervisor can compromise, but otherwise I think the responsibility should be given to the woman, like, because I don't think so that they are less capable of doing things. Sometimes it happens, like, so yeah, that I feel, these two things I feel.
Yes, I mean, having accommodation on campus is really, really important, especially when you say that, there are so many things to do and that would perhaps solve a lot of issues that you might
Issues.
have, right?
Hmm.
As a research scholar, not having to worry about like traveling home or doing other things, managing your time and your research work. So, another question, as somebody who is a woman in academia and a woman in STEM, what advice would you like to give to other women who would want to pursue civil engineering, pursue a PhD, or like just be in STEM and do the kind of work that you are doing or that they might come up with?
So I'll say that just be in the process and voice it out. Whatever you are feeling difficulty, voice it out for yourself and keep on trying. You will anyways do it. And you will turn out to be a stronger and more powerful human being, more stable human being. That I would say.
So, have you had like any students come up to you and ask you for advice or like career advice, whether it is about research or what are the different career options for civil engineers?
Yeah, because I was mentoring GATE students. So those who don't get good score card in the GATE, then yeah, we were doing this all of the time. But because I was into a very specific department, or you can say very specific branch, so I have only students coming to me asking only in that area. But yeah, I always advise that it's like whatever branch you do your engineering from, you should not limit yourself. If at any point of time you find, see, now I am very much interested in human psychology. So in my civil engine, like I choose affordable housing as my research topic, but I put human psychology in it. So you should not limit yourself to the career. So yeah, they will come. So I think I always say that it's never because you have done civil engineering you should get a job in civil engineering. If the opportunity there is very less, you should go out and see something else. There's a lot of scope in everything you do. And it's never too late. You can any day start and take a degree at any. In my lab only, there's one of my mom, she's an IRS officer, and she has degrees in law, economics, and at the age of 43, 44, she is pursuing PhD. She is having a very stable career, but still, so it's never late. So you have to keep on exploring things in life.
Was a wonderful example. And at various points across our chat, you have mentioned that seeing women do the work and really achieve what they wanted to has made you feel proud and has made you feel like you can do it too. And that, of course, it's never too late to really pursue what you want to do. And of course, that can change based on time. But how important is it to have role models who perhaps you can relate to? Of course, we have stalwarts, we have really famous women in STEM who we learn about, but how important is it to have everyday role models who can inspire you?
For me it is very much important. Even I see my, like, whoever female colleagues with kids, if they do things, I feel very motivated that if she can do it, I can do it. And there are when you go on searching, there are so many examples out there. So you feel a sense of, what you can say, motivation, and also that validation that whatever you are doing, she has also gone through that. So if she can navigate, you can also navigate it. The only thing is, some scenarios will be different, but then you have to do it. Like, for I was in a state when my baby was very small, I was in a state that I could not give my comprehensive exam and I'll leave. But when I have passed that phase, now I say that I'll do it somehow. I have to do it because I have passed the tough phase. Now it's the journey is easier only. It's going to be easy only. So yeah, you just have to have patience and perseverance, and then things will come out. Sometimes there will be time when your baby is sick and you feel that why I'm juggling all of this. But that is only a phase. When it will go, so we see that people, they'll also tell us that, yeah, this happens. This is very common. So they also advises us and all of that. So they support us also. They give so many motherhood advices which they have failed. So that all really, really helps. We should have a motherhood community inside the campus also.
I think you should start one. I think that would be really amazing. You should really lead that because you have been such an inspirational figure on campus. And I think the IIT community, whether it's in Delhi or otherwise, can really benefit from having such a community that is
Yeah, I should also get a PhD
advocating.
degree with flying colors with so many papers. Then I can do this.
Of course, you will. You will get the papers and you will get
Yeah.
that PhD. There is no doubt about it. Another slightly related question, as somebody who has taught at coaching classes, and now we are seeing this boom of digital academies, right? Online teaching spaces, as well as YouTubers and influencers, and all of these things coming up for STEM education. Do you think that digital mentorship can play some sort of a role to encourage more girls to either join or to stay and grow in STEM careers?
Yeah, why like now everything is driven by digital world. So why not this? This will obviously be a very great initiative and will obviously help only. I feel it because everywhere, see, everyone is having the access in the remotest of place. Everyone is having internet now, and the shift is so fast that obviously there is if you want to bring the change, the first step should you have to go like the first step or the last step you have to go through the digital journey. So I feel yeah, obviously it will play a role. I think all of us now started listening to podcast, so before it was not the culture. Now it's like so much so in that it is there, right? So I think this is the only way we should go.
And have you had, you mentioned that you have taught YouTube classes
Yeah,
lectures as
online.
well. So are your videos like still on YouTube? Have you ever been sort of contacted by, somebody who's not been part of your classes after seeing your video saying they have
Yeah,
learned
even
something?
I got one student in IIT Delhi itself. When I was going to department and I was coming back, she told me that, "Ma'am, you are also here. I learned from you." And she has also joined PhD in IIT Delhi. So I was feeling very proud. It was a proud moment for me. So yeah, it's there. I have taught digitally also during the COVID time. I was associated with an academy and I was teaching digitally there that time also.
Wonderful. I'd love to access some of those lectures if you could share some links.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
sure,
sure people
sure.
who listen to this would love to also learn from you because, like we were talking, right, about gender ratios on campus, I believe even in digital or like coaching settings, women science educators might be fewer.
I think now it is not, but in my case, when I joined initially, it was there. But I think now, yeah, it might be less, but yeah, it's there. Like now, I think things have much improved, and I hope it should improve,
Keep improving.
keep
We will
on improving. Yeah.
absolutely. So, just finally, my last question to
Hmm.
you is at this stage, apart from finishing your PhD in with flying colors and having papers published, what are your goals and aspirations?
I just want to be keep some focus on my health also because I have just delivered a baby. So the postpartum care, I should like I have made a goal that I'll be focusing on my health because health is everything. Even if I get a degree and if I lose my health, so yeah, this is the goal. And also I want to spiritually also I want to go grow a little bit. So this is what I think in career I'll navigate it and I'll get good things in life. I'm pretty sure about it. So I just want to focus on my health and and spirituality I just want to learn, so that because it will help me to be mentally stable and navigate it properly.
Excellent. Any final thoughts? Anything else that you'd like to share that we might have missed discussing during our chat?
No, nothing. I just want to say all the women that please continue your career if you can. I just don't want to pressurize, because sometimes the situations are really out of control. But if the situations can be controlled, continue your journey and ask for help, and voice your needs. It might get fulfilled many a times. We think so much in our head that this is not going to be happen, but when we say it out, so many things works out. So because of that, if you are holding yourself back, don't. You will get it done, because I was also in a state of leaving everything, but when I said things out, I got help, and I was able to do it.
Thank you so much for chatting with me and sharing your experiences and your thoughts. There is just so much to keep learning from you, and very excited to see where you go from here in
Yeah.
PhD as well as, with your teaching career.
Yeah, thank you so much. I also feel privileged to share my journey. If it could inspire any one of the women out there, I'll be very happy.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to this podcast. At STEM the Gap, our goal is to bridge the gender imbalances in STEM through multidisciplinary research, policy, and practice. If you enjoyed listening to this conversation, then please like, share, and subscribe to our channel and stay connected with us through our website and social media pages. Links in description.